Hello, my name is Nick. I'm a 28-year-old teacher from Canada, and I want 2023 to be the best year of my life. Mostly because 2022 was the worst year of my life. It's not entirely true. The first half of 2022 was absolute hell. Most people have like one thing in their life that it's like a no-go zone. It just can't happen. It's the kind of thing you would pray and just say like, nope, just anything can happen. Just not that one thing, please. And it could be losing a partner or a loved one or maybe your career or whatever it is. And for me, that thing happened. That one thing. I could have taken anything else in life. That one thing, my Achilles heel, it got me, and it got me good. It took me out for 6 months, and I didn't think I was going to get through it. Talk about it some other time, but I did. But basically what ended up happening, my whole life was just flattened. And after 6 months, I kind of came out of a daze. And at the end of June, I was thinking, what the hell just happened? What just happened to me? My whole life is just all the bricks, all the stones from my little castle, my little house I built up over the last decade of my adult life, just flattened, just toast, just gone. And I finally had the strength and the mental capacity to say, well, let's rebuild, or let's see what's left. So I would pick things up. Each stone of what used to be my perfect castle. And I would look at it and I would think, okay, fitness. Yes, I always said fitness was important to me. So I put that one down in the foundation and I would kind of stick it in there. And I'd say, okay, well, what about this? And it'd be some sort of expectation from somebody. I think, I didn't agree to this. And I'd think back and I think, when did I acquire this? Who put this here? I don't want this. So I just toss it, because when your whole life has been just decimated, I don't care if someone wanted me to do or say a certain thing or to behave a certain way. It's usually what it was, some sort of behavior. Things just seem so insignificant. So I would just get rid of it. Or maybe it was an expectation of a job or a salary or some sort of belief I would hold or something, or just expectations on myself or values that I realized those aren't my values. I just acquired this because of the people I was around, or a friendship. I would pick up to keep going with the metaphor, pick up a brick, and it would be this friendship, and I'd look at it out of context of everything, just isolated, and I'd think, that's a toxic friendship. Why is this person in my life? Starting from scratch, I would never put this person into my life. And so, gone, without a second thought. Because for all I knew, my life was just going to be over and decimated the next day anyway, so I don't care. I was just like playing Lego. I was building up a life I didn't expect to even have or exist. I didn't expect to be alive in 1 month or 2 months or 6 months or a year. So the consequences didn't really matter, but I thought, if I am going to be around, being healthy seems like a good idea. So I'd say, okay, I should get my sleep in order. And I'd put that little stone in next to the fitness one, and then maybe my nutrition, and then there's maybe a really great friendship. I would think, okay, well, if I'm gonna have friends, that's the kind of friend I want, and I'd stick that on top, and then I built up this nice little life, kind of from scratch and from the rubble. And I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Worst is gonna happen is it just gets blown up like the life I had before that I worked so hard on. And so, starting around July of 2022, I decided to just try to be authentic, to live by my values and my beliefs that were actually mine and the things I authentically held true to myself, to invest back in the relationships and friendships that I actually saw as valuable, the things I actually wanted. I figured if I might not be alive in a few months, if I can look back on my life, what kind of stuff would I be proud of and wouldn't I be proud of? And then in July, things kind of worked. It wasn't glorious, it wasn't glamorous. Looking from the outside, no one would have thought anything special. But I was moving toward all the things I always said were important. I thought, what the heck? I don't understand what's going on. And then August and September and October, and things just started happening, and this life started coming together. For the first time, I wanted to get up in the morning and I wanted to go to work. And by the end of last year, yesterday, it's January 1st today, I was stronger than I'd ever been. It's something I'd worked on. It was a life goal of mine to reach these certain fitness goals, and I crushed them. I thought, I don't understand. I've accomplished more in 6 months than I have in the last 5 years. And then I kind of clued in that it's because everything's sort of lining up. For the first time in my life, getting rid of the baggage and the expectations and the wasted time. And my life is pretty simple. It's kind of like a very clean, organized apartment you design for yourself. Someone else might come in and not think anything of it, but everything's where you want it to be. And you go to cook, and all the utensils are right where they should be. And you go to relax, and the chair fits you. And the TV is positioned at the angle you like. It's all these things. It's not positioned at the angle someone else would like, because that's their expectation. It just suits you. Kind of fits like a glove. It wasn't perfect. I don't think anyone has the perfect life. Definitely wasn't a perfect life in general. But it was a life that I thought was worth living. And sure enough, in the last 6 months, I've felt more true to myself than I ever have. Healthier and stronger relationships with everyone around me. And I've moved towards the goals I set out a decade ago, and I've made more progress towards them in the last 5 or 6 months than I have in that decade. It's unbelievable. So as a teacher, I want to be the best version of myself possible. Because I work with students who have lives that I can't imagine. They have struggles I'll never understand and I've never gone through. But I know what it's like to struggle. And when they come to me with their problems, and when they come to me with their successes, I want to respond appropriately. I don't want to be hungover from the night before. I don't want to have a foggy head because I'm stressed and I didn't relax or release it properly. I don't want to have eaten junk in the morning and my head's all, kind of messed up and I can't focus, and they tell me something, then they need a certain response from me, and that's my duty, and I can't give it to them because I don't have my shit together. So the way I see it, as a teacher, I want to live like a soldier in you know what I mean, in my own sort of way. I want to be the healthiest I can be mentally. I want to have read books. I want to be able to know what they're talking about. I want to be able to be wise and funny and caring and motivating and to give tough love and to also tell them it's going to be all right. And I want to be that teacher. I want to be that person. I want to be that husband, that partner, that father, that son. And that's what 2023 is going to be about. I'm not going to be a different person in a year, but I want to be more of who I actually am and who I want to be. And I've realized how much you can do in a year. You can make people who haven't seen you in a year go, holy shit. So I had people do that in those last 6 months. People who didn't, I live away from home, and I had people who didn't see me for 6 months, and they went, what? But I had people who hadn't seen me for that year. They saw me at the beginning of when things were horrible. When I was in hell. I was the most unhealthy mentally and physically I've ever been. And then compared to now, and they go, how'd you do that in a year? And I went, that wasn't even close to my best. And I started at the bottom too. Imagine starting where I'm at right now, where things are going pretty well, and I'm on a roll. I just can't imagine what I can accomplish in a year. So that's what this channel is about. And my hope, because I know there are so many people in the same situation, where life's just kicked you down a million times, and getting up once more doesn't feel like it's worth it. And even if you could, it feels like you're just going to stay at that level forever. and you don't even know if it's worth going on. If I can give any insight, any motivation, any help, any encouragement, that's what I want to do. Or else I would just write this in a journal and then just throw it out at the end of the year. But I want to put this out here so that people can watch and they can see, and over the course of a year they can go, you know what? It doesn't look that hard. Sometimes there's just these little things that you just got to figure out. And for me, it took everything getting smashed to the ground. But hopefully for you, your life doesn't need to fall apart like it did for me. Hopefully I can give you something. Hopefully I can give you something. Because if all of that pain and struggle and effort was just for me, barely feels worth it. But if I can kind of compound the positivity and the benefit, then the suffering will have been worth it. Absolutely. I can pass that on to my students, fantastic. My coworkers, great. My family, my friends. I can pass it off to who knows how many people online. That would mean a lot. So I'll make more specific videos and they'll be more upbeat and hopefully better editing and stuff. But I needed to get this out there on January 1st. Just as I reflect on this past year, what it's been like, and the difference between now and 365 days ago. So this year I have fitness goals, I have general health and well-being goals, meditation goals, books I want to read, languages I want to learn, money I want to save, experiences I want to have, relationships I want to develop. All those things. If any one of those sounds like something you're interested in, maybe you can watch me go through the process and I'll save you a little bit of heartache. Maybe I can help you get all those ducks lined up and everything in a row working together so that you don't have to struggle as much as I did. Because I struggled a lot. And I just don't want you to have to struggle too. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. And let's see what we can do in 1 year. Probably a lot. Probably more than you think. Anyways, thanks for listening.